We've talked around this issue, but talked about it a little bit. I want to spend the next hour or so, or however long it takes. Um, when I want to focus kind of exclusively on Epstein and like his criminal conduct with respect to women. Um, do you said yesterday a couple times that like you now kind of recognize or think that there was things that he did that you didn't know about and that he um, kept from you or that you didn't see. What did you see? So you said yesterday, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but at some point he was getting massages 7 days a week, sometimes multiple massages a day. Women have said that were there, that say they were there giving him massages, said that those included some sort of sexual conduct, however you define that in the broadest sense, not just a traditional massage regularly. So what did you see and hear at the time? And then I think, aside from what you saw and heard at the time, now that you've been through what you've been through and heard people say what they've said and read what they've read, where does that leave you in your mind with what happened?
Okay, so I saw Epstein with women. What I mean by that is he would have women around him, or women on the plane, or women in his house, or that's how I'm explaining that. Those women were very interested. What my characterization of the relationships between all women that I saw with him and him was characterized by, their interest in him as I would see it. And by that I mean I never saw anybody who didn't want to be with him, maybe socially or whatever. I never saw anybody not under any form of duress in any type of situation where they were, as I would characterize it, looking uncomfortable or in any way distressed. In the entire time I was with him, or traveled with him, I never saw that. So any time I saw anybody with him, they were happy to be with him. He would ask people all the time, whoever you were, to massage his feet. He'd be sitting there and he'd have somebody massage his feet or squeeze his shoulders, or I saw that a lot. It was an ubiquitous interaction, if you will. So I did see that. I saw physicality, but not anything that was I don't know how to characterize it. Anything that looked aggressive, I suppose, to define that. So I never saw an aggressive move. I never saw anything that was
non-consensual.
Well, thank you. Okay. I never saw anything that was non-consensual. So if he, well, maybe they didn't. I never saw anything that looked like they didn't like the hug, or I never saw what I would characterize as anything that was unconsensual.
Did you see him either receiving or participating in sexual conduct during massages? Understanding you never saw something non-consensual, did you see him engaged in sexual conduct during massages?
Well, you could define sexual conduct as in, I did see women who could have been, less than normally clad for massage, but especially on the island where they would be in a bikini or possibly even topless. Yeah, I did see that. So you would.
But what about yes, I agree. That's one area. Like, so women who were either not clothed or topless with just a bottom on. But beyond that, did you see as part of that him touching them? And again, I'm not talking about consent or not consent or age or, I'm saying like there's multiple, dozens and dozens of women who have said that they engaged in sexual contact, and I agree there's a broad range of how that can be defined, but defining it in the broadest of terms.
I saw him being physical with women. I did see that, but nothing that was not consensual. And to address the issue of the large number of women who today say that he was non-consensual or coercive with them, I'm not sure. In my mind, I sort of have to characterize the two distinct areas. There's one where is the women who are not of age. Therefore, anything with them is immediately unconsensual.
Correct.
So let's start, and I want to define anyone who's under age versus anybody who's over age, because I do think that there's a very significant differential between the two.
Well, so does the law. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So,
yeah.
I don't mean that.
I agree with you. Yes,
okay.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to deal with the thing which is really why we're here. I mean, not that I'm not going to deal with the other, but I just want to make a distinction with the underage situation, because there's nothing about that that's right. I never saw anything with anybody who was, certainly to be categorical from my trial. Let's deal with that, because that's something that I can say. I never saw that with them at all, and I would say that as described anyway in my trial did not happen as described. I'm not saying that Mr. Epstein did not do those things. I'm not casting those. I'm not going to say. I don't feel comfortable saying that today, given what I now know to be true. So I'm not here to defend him. But what I can say is that I did not participate in that activity. And
so let's divide this into two areas. Maybe there's more, but we'll start with two areas. One is there was testimony, and there's certainly been depositions and public statements that some of these young women had conversations with you about their age. So, for example, conversations about the fact that they were in high school, or conversations about the fact that they wanted to go to college one day, which would necessarily mean, well, not necessarily, but would be more likely to mean that they were in high school when they talked to you about that. And so, were there women that you knew were underage? And I say that because that's different than whether they were sexually abused in any way by Mr. Epstein, just merely their age, and going to give him a massage.
No, I never knew that, and I can categorically state that had any child said to me that they were 14, 15, 16, maybe not 17, because 17 in England, I mean, if someone had said they were 17, I've read so much that did happen. I mean, I would never have permitted such a thing. I don't even know what I would have done.